Tech in his 4th season, longtime Hokie assistant. He's been with the program since 2006. Just earned a contract extension this past offseason that'll keep him in Blacksburg through at least 2025.
And rightfully so. He's done some good things since taking over. You said he's been there since 06, but what he's done since he's become the head coach there for Virginia Tech absolutely deserves that extension.
We begin the duel today at 125 pounds. Will Guida for North Carolina against the number 10 ranked wrestler in the land, Sam Latona. Virginia Tech in the orange and gray singlets. Carolina is in the navy blue with the Argyle pattern. Did not see Guida last night. Freshman Julian Tagg wrestled at 125 for Carolina. We mentioned last night Tar Heels falling to NC State by a 28-10 final score. Virginia Tech rolling on the road at Duke 42-3. The Hokies won 9 of their 10 matches. And an early scoring chance here for Latona. That's a 2 for Latona and Virginia Tech.
And there's some experience from Latona, able to get that single leg. Didn't get the trip on the first go around, but stuck with it.
Back to neutral.
Talking about Guida not wrestling yesterday, one thing that Coleman Scott told us, this team, this roster, probably, it's definitely the deepest that he has had in his tenure.
And the Tar Heels have needed that depth early this season. Some interruptions caused by COVID-19 protocol.
You always want that depth because wrestling is a physical contact sport. You never know when somebody's going to go down with an injury and somebody has to step up. But you add in the extra element of COVID, and the depth has been something that North Carolina has been very fortunate to have this season.
Yeah, Kyle, 5 starters for the Tar Heels were unavailable for their ACC duel last week against Duke.
Another 2 for Latona. Has had no problem getting in deep on that single leg in the early goings here against Guida.
And we talk about the depth for North Carolina throughout the season and how that has played a factor with the COVID protocols. It's been a similar story in Blacksburg. Tony Roby talking about how with the various COVID protocols and the starts and stops, there has been limited opportunities for wrestle-offs and internal competition as Latona picks up 2 more. Now extends his lead to 4.
He got that point there with defense. Guida with a quick shot at one leg, able to sprawl out was Latona, and then take advantage of the position he found himself in.
You see the RT on the graphic there. That refers to riding time. If either wrestler has accrued at least 1 minute of riding time at the conclusion of the match, it is an additional point. So Latona closing in on that minute of riding time. That, in effect, extends his lead momentarily to 7-2. That point not granted until the match comes to a close.
And just looking at this one from a macro standpoint, team standpoint, you've got really close teams here. Both of them ranked in the top 20. If you can get bonus point wins, that sometimes is really what the difference is in a dual meet.
Stall warning on Latona. Back to neutral with 16 seconds remaining in our opening period. Sam Latona, redshirt freshman from Alabaster, Alabama.
Hang on. 118 on the riding time. You never even blew a whistle.
And the riding time will be adjusted here. Limited fans in Carmichael Arena, as is the case at all wrestling venues across the country this season. You can hear a little bit more of the conversation between the coaching staff, the officials. Feel like you're right there. So here's the final 16 seconds of this initial period. Latona takes Guida down to the mat.
Nice sprawl here from Guida. Steal a couple points on a reversal. Almost got it. I don't think he got there in time.
There's a point granted for the escape at the end of the period as we look at the most recent takedown from Latona.
Nice good snap gets the head down and quickly gets around to the back, get that position and get control for the 2 points. Good first round there for Latona. Able to take down Guida 3 different times pretty effortlessly. See what the freshman can do from top position for Carolina, needing to get that riding time down as well as you got to release and get some takedowns to get it back into this match.
Guida deferring, so Latona beginning in the down position. Sam Latona, the redshirt freshman for Virginia Tech. One of 2 different Hokies that's seen time at the 125-pound starting position this year. Joey Prada started last night, earned a 3-2 decision in the Hokies' victory against Duke. Going back to that point earlier from Tony Roby, he said going into the season, it was a competition between Latona and Prada, but like we said, limited opportunities for those 2 to wrestle against each other in practice and determine a true starter at 125 for the Hokies into the dual meet portion of the season.
And not just practice, but because there haven't been the tournaments, the Hokie Open, which is one of the bigger ones in the country around the nation, you don't have that. So you don't get to see them in true competition in a match. It makes it tough for the coaches.
Here in the second period, Kyle, even though Guida's been unable to score any points, he has gotten that riding time down. You see it ticking down.
He has been able to tick it down, but a great job there. Latona just slowly worked his way backwards between the legs of Guida and ends up getting a reversal.
So Latona extends his lead to 8-3. Now that riding time going back up. And Kyle, you and I talked about bonus points in a critical dual match like this one. Bonus points can be scored via a major decision, winning by a margin of 8 to 14 points. So at the moment, Latona, with the riding time factored in, would have a 6-point advantage. He would need to score at least 1 more takedown to earn that 8-point margin and earn the extra point for Virginia Tech in this initial 125-pound bout.
And because of that, expect in the 3rd round for one of 2 things to happen. He'll either try to roll him up and get some near fall points. If he's not able to do that, cut him loose, give up the 1 point on the escape, but get the takedown. You do that a couple of times and you build up those points. Take another look at this reversal here. See him get that leg, the left leg of Guida. He had it controlled, and as soon as he did, he just slowly inched his way back.
We begin the 3rd period in neutral. Latona puts Guida on his back. 2 more there, 10-4 now.
Gonna cut him loose here.
So Guida gets the point on the escape.
I like how he was right in Guida's face. There was no time to take a breath, and you could see the freshman thought he was going to be able to and immediately was engaged by Latona. Something that because the freshmen have been forced kind of into the fire this year, there's no red shirt, there's no wrestling in opens, you're just kind of in the duels right away. Both coaches talking about how big of an experience and an invaluable experience it'll be for them growing. You got to go through the growing pains first, though.
So back to neutral we go. And even with riding time a factor, Latona needs at least 1 more point to try and earn a major decision. There's one right there. That was a 2nd stall infraction against Guida. Sam Latona finds himself 30 seconds away from a major decision. An early 4 points for Virginia Tech. Point is secured.
For one last takedown before this one ends, it's going to be a big first win for Virginia Tech, not just to get on the board first, but get those bonus points we talk about.
And the horn sounds. One more takedown at the end. So by an 18-7 score, Sam Latona, Kyle, gives Virginia Tech a 4-0 advantage early.
Got in on that single leg in the early parts of the first round and just never looked back. Multiple takedowns for him. It was just too easy, and they cruised to the first victory.
Virginia Tech capitalizes in the initial bout of the duel this afternoon. Sam Latona, the number 10 ranked wrestler at 125, posts a major decision, 4-0 Hokies. As Jamie Hernandez of North Carolina gets set to take the mat against Corbin Myers of Virginia Tech. In a critical 133-pound bout. Kyle, this is one of those bouts when you look at today's matchups that could really go either way and could really determine which team walks away victorious in this duel.
And I think because it's kind of a question mark matchup here, you're not looking at it as, all right, we have two ranked opponents, or like the last one ranked versus an unranked, where you're supposed to win that if you're Virginia Tech. Here's a toss-up. And in those ones where we talked about two top 20 programs, you have to win the close matches that are toss-ups, and when you have the opportunity, get the bonus points.
And for all the talk we had right off the top today about recovery and coming back after last night with both of these two teams having other ACC duels one night ago, Myers did not wrestle last night for Virginia Tech. Brandon Wittenberg got the start at 133. But Myers is a veteran, a sixth-year wrestler. Missed a lot of time last season with an injury, was granted a medical red shirt and an extra year of eligibility. As he strikes first, taking down Hernandez, a 2-0 advantage now for Myers. Start the clock on the riding time. Hernandez trying to work his way out of it. Points coming. A full 4 on the near fall for Myers.
That's huge for Myers there. Just when it looked like Hernandez was going to actually break free, get an escape point, it turns around quickly.
Corbin Myers from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Tony Roby said that it took a while for him to make that decision to come back for another season, a sixth season. But ultimately, once he arrived at it, he'd become a leader for this team. Wrestling at a really high level this season.
I think that's all coaches can ask for in any sport when you're getting a graduate assistant, is just make sure that they're 100% bought in and it's what they want to do. Then, yeah, you got to take them on your team because you're getting a built-in leader.
And he has a 6-0 advantage on Jamie Hernandez. Wrestling in just his second official bout of the season. Earned a decision over number 14, Jarrett Trombley last night, 3-2. Hernandez's first match of the year was an injury default against Gardner Webb on January 10th. But Hernandez, the redshirt junior from Illinois, in some trouble here.
You see the right leg is tangled up with Myers, and he's done a great job of controlling that. It does not allow Hernandez to get to his feet to try and get the escape point.
Back to center we'll go with 11 seconds remaining in our initial period. Myers, a three-time NCAA qualifier, will start on top.
Again, good job by Myers. Hernandez able to get to his feet, but Myers put all of the weight on him, never allowed him to really get to his set position.
Kyle, here was the big scoring opportunity in that first period, the near fall.
And I think it was where Hernandez was focused on breaking that hand around the waist, lost his footing, and because of that, a great heads-up job by Myers, spun him around. Once you got him to the mat in that position, the near fall points were a given.
Caution called. Started too quickly. Here Hernandez begins on top, and he has that right leg. Myers able to get to his feet and earn an escape point.
Good explosive moves from Myers. You could see Hernandez was trying to get that arm so he could break it down and then roll him over to get some near fall himself.
See, Hernandez has the lefty underhook there. Myers breaks free and goes on the offensive. Jamie Hernandez, the ACC runner-up 1 season ago, lost the 133-pound championship match against Mickey Philippi of Pitt. That was enough to earn qualification to the NCAA championships that were ultimately canceled due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Good snap there from Hernandez. They didn't follow up, though.
Myers capitalizes. 2 more for Corbin Myers.
It was a great shot from Myers. Both wrestlers down low to the mat, and Myers exploding through Hernandez to get the takedown.
And when you factor in the riding time, Kyle, it's in essence a 10-0 advantage at the moment for Corbin Myers. Virginia Tech threatening to score bonus points for the second time in as many matches.
They are, and that's got to be the mentality of Myers, but you also have to realize that with Hernandez, a guy you just talked about, second in the ACC last year in this weight class, qualifier for the NCAA, if you make a mistake, he can very quickly flip you, and you don't want to lose because you gave up mentally and got pinned.
Two more for Myers. Went low and scored the takedown.
And it should have been a takedown the other way. You saw the snap from Hernandez. He hesitated. Myers didn't. He immediately reacted to being snapped, saw an opening, took advantage of it. And that's exactly how this whole match has gone so far, Matt.
So can Jamie Hernandez try and score here in the third period to avoid a major decision? Myers goes low again, has the left leg. No points yet. Hernandez keeps that leg free.
Hernandez might turn this into points himself if he can get back towards the mat and work. They're going to come out the circle.
Veteran maneuver there for Myers, able to work his way to the edge.
Absolutely. Went for the takedown, got himself in a precarious situation, realized where he was, and just took himself out of the mat. Let's get a restart in neutral.
He knows he's 90 seconds away from a potential major decision and 4 more points for the Hokies. But Hernandez comes up with a pair. His first takedown of the match.
Because he's down so much, he's going to release here so that he can try and get more points.
Myers earns the escape point with 1 minute left. The riding time point is secure, so that puts Myers back up by 9. Myers has the leg.
Tried to power through again. Good sprawl from Hernandez.
Hernandez trying to scramble out of it here. Desperately keeping that left leg free. Now he has the right leg of Myers. No points yet. 10 seconds left in our 133-pound bouts.
Whichever wrestler can get the leg free from the other one. And for Myers, just needs to hang on, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Corbin Myers, the number 8 wrestler in the lands, with a near fall early, ultimately able to earn another major decision. 8-0 Virginia Tech after 2 bouts. Five total former ACC champions involved in our duel today, including Zach Sherman at 141 pounds, ranked 10th in the country. Set to go for North Carolina here, Kyle.
A couple of top 20 teams. Not really a big surprise that they have a very, very good showing as far as who won in weight classes last year in the ACC. Here's the first one where North Carolina should win, and not just should win, but should get some bonus points. Can Zach Sherman go out there and do what his team needs to do right here?
Zach Sherman trying to bounce back both individually and for his team. He'll face Sam Hillegas. Hillegas, a true freshman. And a tall task against number 10, Zach Sherman. Virginia Tech earning 2 major decisions at both 125 and 133. Now Sherman trying to get Carolina back into this duel, and also, like we said, bounce back himself. He lost last night to number 11, Tariq Wilson of NC State by a 9-6 decision.
Sherman wasted absolutely no time attacking Hillegas, but the freshman has done a good job in the scramble here. Really nice scramble there from the freshman to get the points on Sherman.
Reversal points for Hillegas. Now he's on top.
And that's a good confidence builder in an early part of the match for a freshman.
And while Sam Hillegas may be young, he's no slouch. He's won half of his collegiate matches already by fall. He pinned Shannon Hanna of Campbell in just over 4 minutes in his collegiate debut.
Anybody that goes to either of these two programs knows what they're doing out on the mat. It's just getting used to the next level that you jump up. But Hillegas, a 2-time Pennsylvania state champion.
And this 141-pound weight class at Virginia Tech is a lot like the 125, Tony Roby says, because it's a spot where they had some competition in the preseason, but because of the various stops and starts due to COVID protocol, they've been unable to establish a true starter. So Hillegas and Colin Girardi have split time. Stall warning on Sherman underneath. Hillegas already over a minute of riding time.
When you talk about the technicalities of working in this matchup, Hillegas definitely outmatched from Sherman. So because you get that takedown, I think this is the right way to play it. Get the riding time. Don't allow the offensive Sherman to even be a factor.
You wonder, though, what Sherman has up his sleeve. Try and execute a reversal here before the end of the first period. It's a stall point for Hillegas because Sherman's called for a second stall. Your first stalling infraction, you get a warning. Second time, it's a point for the other wrestler. That's the case here.
Sherman is trying to inch his way off of that mat to get a restart.
He won't have much time in the first period, even if he's able to earn that restart, and now he does. Back to center we go in the neutral position with 14 seconds left in the first period.
Doesn't have a lot of time, but what it at least does is gets him to a base of all 4 instead of being flat on his stomach.
We have a blood timeout here. Coleman Scott's going to use the time to talk things over with our officials. Here's how Sam Hillegas, the true freshman, drew first blood.
It was actually Sherman who went and was the aggressor, went in on a double leg, but a good job defensively by Hillegas. They got into a scramble, and eventually the freshman found himself in top position and was able to control Sherman, and from there just rode it out the rest of this first round, picking up the extra point as well because of the stall.
14 seconds left in the first period. You see the riding time factor. Sherman will begin down. You wonder, with 14 seconds left in the period, if either of these wrestlers will have the opportunity to be aggressive. Caution on Hillegas for starting too quickly. Hillegas working the shoulders. Sherman gets in underneath. Puts him on his back for 2. Zach Sherman earns a pair right before the end of that first period, and Colin, you wondered what the aggression was going to be from the redshirt junior.
Great job of using his hips to get around the freshman Hillegas, and then once he was able to get around where he had control of him, that little flip over got him the 2 points on the reversal. And immediately after that round, I like that Sherman's confidence. I want to be down on the bottom position to start.
So Hillegas will start on top as we go to the second. Coleman Scott looking on. Former NCAA champion, Olympic bronze medalist. Sixth-year head coach of the Tar Heels, coaching Sherman to an ACC championship last season.
Said the next step for Sherman is separating from the rest of the pack. He's got the potential to be one of the best in the country.
The quote Coleman Scott said was, if Zach continues to improve, he'll be a problem for anyone in the country. A student of the sport who's in the room more than anyone else.
Hillegas right now, they're doing a good job maintaining that lead. Got himself in a precarious situation here, though, lost his footing.
Sherman trying to take advantage.
Sherman's looking for the reversal 2 points instead of just one, and he's going to get it. You can hear UNC's bench calling for it. I think he's got it here. Sherman is calling for it. Nothing else he can do, and they're going to call this one a stalemate. Wow.
And no points given. And Coleman Scott's going to challenge here. See the challenge brick thrown onto the mat. So with 47 seconds left in this second period, the officials will go over to the monitor. Let's see.
Sherman here could have run out and just gotten an escape point, but Hillegas grabbed that ankle, and that's when Zach reversed and said, all right, let's try for the 2. And when he flips the hips over here and then gains control, I think this is right where you see that it's 2 points to me. I know Hillegas has still got the ankle of Sherman, but there's no control.
And it looks from there like Sherman is in control.
Yeah, that's 2 points. This one should be overturned, but we'll see what the referees say. Worked out huge yesterday for North Carolina in a late reversal that helped Kennedy Monday get a win.
It was in that Kennedy Monday match at 165. He was trailing late 1-0. Coleman Scott challenged. Ultimately, it was ruled there was an illegal hold in that sequence. It gave Monday the momentum he needed to win at 165. Remember, the officials that are looking at the monitor do not have the same camera angles that we do and that you see at home. See the feed that they're looking at there on the monitor between the two officials.
Ruling on the mat stands, so there's no reversal. We're adjusting riding time to 3:24. Okay.
You heard there the natural sounds. The call stands. They'll adjust the riding time. There's no reversal, and Hillegas maintains a 3-2 lead.
Not there. We're not able to get the explanation on why they did or didn't, but
he still has a leg here.
still a lot of time left in this match.
Still 47 seconds remaining in the second period. Sherman has the leverage here. There's 2. Sherman takes the lead.
Just used his power there to get the 2 points. Sometimes you go with technique, sometimes you go with sheer strength.
And that time, sheer strength got the job done for Zach Sherman.
Hillegas finds himself in one of the toughest positions, wrestling from that bottom position, especially as a young wrestler. It's one of the toughest things to learn how to do.
Second period over, but Sherman pulls in front. Here was the takedown that gave him the advantage heading to the third.
Just sheer power from his knees, nonetheless. Able to lift him up off the mat, put him back down, and get the 2 points.
Second team All-American last season, went 27-5 a year ago. Was sent to be the number 11 seed at the NCAA championships before they were canceled.
Tried to roll him up there. Went for the quick roll up to try and get a pin or near fall. Couldn't get it. Said, all right, we'll release and go for more points.
So Hillegas earns the escape point, ties us up at 4. And remember, with the riding time, Hillegas has secured another point. So in effect, he is in the lead, 5-4. Sherman in need of a takedown here. No points yet.
That's a great scramble there from Sherman, returning the favor from the first round.
And there is the pair. Sherman back in front.
You see he's trying to get around so that he can get those shoulders down towards the mat. Force the head down and roll over.
Hillegas able to work his way to the edge of the mat.
Great scramble here between the two. Hillegas, you got to give him credit, went for the leg sweep, missed on it, a little bit of a roll around, and Sherman's the one who comes out in top position.
So 1:07 to go here in the third period. Hillegas has secured the riding time point. Escape point for Hillegas. Who will go on the offensive here? The true freshman Hillegas or the veteran redshirt junior Sherman? Sherman looking low.
Because of that scramble in the first round that turned around to points for Hillegas, I think you see a little bit of a hesitation from Sherman, measuring his shot.
Under 30 now. See, Hillegas has the underhook with the left arm. No points yet, though Hillegas has the leg. 10 seconds left in regulation. Regulation not enough to decide it. Remember, Hillegas has the riding time points. That evens us up at 6.
Huge opportunity for Virginia Tech to steal a match that's supposed to go North Carolina's way. Sherman not realizing that 1 point. Both wrestlers trying desperately at the end there of regulation.
And Kyle, you said it, this is a match that on paper heavily favored the Tar Heels. Virginia Tech earned bonus points in each of the first 2 bouts today. Can Hillegas pull the upset and extend the Hokie lead? You see Sherman thinking low, looking low, but it's Hillegas that strikes.
It's not over because if he gets the pin, that's more points for the team win.
And a near fall for Sherman gives him 4 points. And that'll do it at 141.
There's defense there that won it for Zach Sherman. Waited for the freshman to take the shot. Once he did, got position, got him down to the mat, and got the first win of the duel for the Tar Heels.
Last March in Pittsburgh, Austin O'Connor of North Carolina and Bryce Andonian of Virginia Tech grappled for an ACC title. O'Connor walked away with it, his first ACC crown. Now, Kyle, they meet again today.
They meet again today, and for Andonian, third time maybe the charm. That was the second time that O'Connor got the best of him. 10-4 regular season, and you saw that 11-7 in the ACCs. When you have familiarity with another wrestler, it becomes very easy to get yourself up, and we talked about it with Sherman. He wrestled against NC State's Wilson and lost a couple of times during the regular season, finally got over that hump last year, and now it's become a rivalry. It is very close back and forth with them. Andonian with a chance to do that here with O'Connor, who is trying to put himself into a different class compared to everybody else in the 149, excuse me.
A definite national championship threat. O'Connor scores the initial takedown of the bout. Last season, O'Connor 25-1, fifth best winning percentage in a single season in North Carolina history. Was set to be that number 2 seed at the NCAA championships.
You can see the confidence in himself. Got the takedown, wasted no time trying to build riding time. Back to the feet. He thinks he can do that against anybody and just get the takedown points.
Andonian last night pinned number 19 Josh Feinsilver of Duke in just a minute 2 seconds. O'Connor's lone match before last night's was a 47-second pin against Gardner Webb. O'Connor working to get those shoulders of Andonian onto the mat.
Got in on that deep double. Andonian with some good defense to keep away from the 2 points. Finally, though, O'Connor going to get the call.
So O'Connor extends his lead to 4-1. And in a match where Carolina finds itself down 8-3, Kyle, I think something that Coleman Scott said about Austin O'Connor comes up so big right now, and that is that he wants to bonus everybody in the whole country. To him, that's excellence. Mindset is score and keep on scoring.
He's got a bonus mentality. I love that when Coleman Scott told us that. Bonus mentality. That's what he wants every single time. And talking with him about getting out on the mat and wrestling with somebody like that, said the coaches kind of have to rotate around because it sucks to wrestle him in practice, so he feels bad for some of the opponents. That really is the difference, I think, in any sport that you look at, from the goods to the greats, is that hunger for not just a win, but a dominating win.
Andonian earns a second point on an escape. Over halfway through the first period now. Mentioned the O'Connor pin against Gardner Webb back on January the 10th. Last night, won via major decision against Ed Scott of NC State, 10-3. So bonus points in both of his official bouts this season. O'Connor has Andonian on the ground. Andonian scrambles out of it. Now Andonian on the attack. And O'Connor off the mat. We'll go back to neutral.
I think the scramble is where O'Connor is just so good. Sometimes you can be unconventional when you're in that scramble, and you kind of saw it there where he was able to just kind of hop, flip his hips around, and all of a sudden he's facing his opponent instead of being in a bad spot where you've given up your back.
Shrug, there's a shrug. 30 seconds, intensity here, intensity. And strong. Let's stay at one leg out there. Dropping.
Neither wrestler particularly aggressive here, as we hit 20 seconds to go in the initial period. Very patient approach from Andonian, trying to spring the upset here at 149. But O'Connor strikes, he goes low. 2 more for O'Connor in the waning seconds of the period, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
He's just so fast with that attack and the shoot to a double leg. And very rarely does he even bother going for a single. 3 different takedowns from him here. And the awareness when he went in for that shot, the right leg of Andonian tried to pull away, but he was able to grab that ankle, pull it back in, and pull him into the body for the control.
Andonian begins the second period on top. Tony Roby says that Bryce Andonian in the offseason really worked on adding some conventional offense to his attack. He's one of the more unconventional wrestlers you'll see in the country, because everything else he does is unconventional, Coach Roby said. Andonian escapes. Point for O'Connor, 7-2.
that's one of the things that Coleman's got emphasized about Austin O'Connor. He just does not allow another wrestler to ride him. If he is in the bottom position within 30 seconds, he expects him to be up and on his feet.
We are changing the clock to 19 seconds. Virginia Tech retains its challenge.
Well, you heard the explanation right there. The call has been changed. There is no takedown, 5 seconds added to the clock. It's a successful challenge by Tony Roby, which means that Virginia Tech is able to keep its challenge, Brick.
They keep it, and as I mentioned, Andonian got a little bit of a breather. 2 points are taken off the board. Challenge couldn't have gone better for Virginia Tech.
It's ruled that O'Connor did not have control of that leg.
Double legs coming. Inside.
Here Coach Roby saying that the double leg is coming.
5 seconds.
4 seconds left in the second period. And Andonian able to hang on. So after the challenge, it remains just a 5-point match. Onward to the third. Austin O'Connor earned bonus points in 15 of his 25 victories last year. He's got work to do. Try and earn bonus points here against Bryce Andonian, who earns an escape point and cuts it to 4. Riding time not much of a factor here. O'Connor goes with one leg. Has another. No points yet. Andonian attempting to scramble out of it. You see he's got a hold of O'Connor's right foot.
And that's not allowing O'Connor to do 2 things. 1, he can't get to his feet, and 2, he can't spin around on Andonian.
So 2 points for a takedown for O'Connor, and then an additional point for an illegal hold called against Andonian.
And that's a point you give up there because Andonian got himself into a position where he almost was going to give up his back, and instead you give up the point for an illegal hold, go to your stomach. Nice athletic move there.
An escape by Andonian cuts it back to 6. Still O'Connor finds himself a takedown away with 1 minute left from a bonus point victory.
Get back on your offense. Yes. More of it. Just run your hook.
Again, riding time not much of a factor here.
Stance. Good.
Andonian goes low.
Watch the center. You got 30. You can't give anything up.
Officially no riding time point to be awarded in this match. O'Connor works Andonian to the edge. They'll go back to neutral with 25 seconds to go. Stall warning on Andonian.
That's big because that gives the point to O'Connor. Second this match against Andonian.
O'Connor has the left leg. Can he get to the right for 2 more points? Tries to swing that leg out once again.
Good balance shown there by Andonian.
Down to 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. And Austin O'Connor wins once again. A 7-point victory by decision. The #1 wrestler in the land earns 3 more points to pull North Carolina within 2. A pair of major decisions for Virginia Tech in the first 2 bouts of the day, providing the advantage for the #8 Hokies. They lead #14 North Carolina by a pair as we proceed to the 157-pound bout. It's Connor Brady, a redshirt freshman from Ohio, going for Virginia Tech. He'll be opposed by Josh McClure, the 5th-year senior for North Carolina. Kyle, this is one of those swing bouts in this match. Can Carolina keep the momentum going and take the team lead, or will Virginia Tech be able to use their youngster to extend the 8-6 advantage?
Should be a good match here. I like McClure, even though he wasn't the 157 wrestler last year with North Carolina. Went 22-5 though, and won a couple of different opens throughout the season. He's got some good experience, and you see the length that he's got.
Go, Connor, come on.
McClure got poked in the eye, but back at it. Fifth-year senior from Fulton, Missouri, lost via tech fall last night to the number 2 ranked wrestler at 157. Hayden Hidlay of NC State, 20-5. See McClure going low.
Said he's really refocused this year, ready for that last run as the redshirt senior. A couple of years ago, had a good year for North Carolina, but it ended in an injury in the ACC championships.
And as a fifth-year senior, Coleman Scott said, you know, he's going out there with nothing to lose. This is inferior last year. Obviously, the NCAA has given that blanket waiver to all winter sports athletes that they can come back and use another year of eligibility if they so choose. But in a traditional sense, it's the last go-round for McClure, and he's earned that starting spot at 157, and that's the mindset he's taking out on the mat with him. Kyle, you mentioned McClure's success in tournaments last season. That's a huge difference in this COVID era of wrestling this season, is those tournaments just aren't happening.
Yeah.
So as a result, we are seeing extra matches after select dual meets, but still, that's invaluable experience. No points yet. Brady on top, now earns the pair.
Yeah, normally with the season, especially younger guys, you'd have a redshirt year and they'd wrestle on attached, and those opens are really where they get that experience at this level. Without that being something that they can do, I think all the coaches kind of came together and said, let's help each other out. We'll have these extra matches afterwards. And it's a great idea on their part to do so.
McClure earned a pair of victories against Gardner-Webb back on January the 10th.
You see Brady has that left arm of McClure up behind his body, all the weight being pushed down. It makes it really hard for McClure on the bottom to get a full breath in.
We've talked about it throughout the broadcast, just how difficult it is to wrestle out of a bottom position, as Brady's continuing to rack up the riding time here. McClure will restart down. 24 seconds to go in the first period of our 157-pound bout. Brady continuing to work that left arm. Here's the call.
Try and roll him over now. I don't know if he's got enough time though, Matt.
Call from the corner saying you got time to score, but ultimately nothing doing.
Just one takedown, but it was from Brady. Good job to go high-low there and get the single leg. McClure trying to flip those hips around, gave up position and the 2 points.
Brady, a redshirt freshman.
Hard effort, you keep down, whole crew. Get out there, get out there.
When we talk about improvement during a year, whether it's the redshirt year or even a season where you've got a full slate of dual meets, but especially in this year, that's difficult to do, yet Connor Brady has improved as this year's gone along. Tony Roby was very honest as McClure earns an escape point, 2-1 now. He said Brady had a bad first weekend against Campbell, lost to the Fighting Campbell's Ben Barton 7-4. But part of being a young guy is figuring out your process and your approach. Coach Roby really pleased with how Brady's gone about that as McClure goes low.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that young guys have to learn. It is not just on the mat, but what do you do off the mat to make yourself prepared? The other thing to note, because of some of the issues North Carolina has had with seasons and duels being delayed because of COVID, Virginia Tech's been able to get out there on the mat and actually have more competition and experience, which has helped, I'm sure, Brady grow immensely, as you mentioned.
Virginia Tech started their season January 2nd against Campbell. Then they had a quad meet against West Virginia, Ohio, and Kent State the following weekend.
They could be wrong, but I think the only match as of now that they had on their schedule that had been affected was actually this one, which was supposed to be earlier this month.
January 15th, the initial date of this match.
In an age where there's so much uncertainty and you're not really sure if you're going to be able to wrestle or not, to be able to have that consistency in a schedule, it's big.
And that's something we've seen across all college sports in this strange year.
Oh yeah, not just limited to North Carolina wrestling, it's everybody.
Athletes, coaches, just unable to find that rhythm. McClure working the neck. Second period comes to a close. Still the takedown from Brady in the first, providing the difference.
Minute 40 of riding time for him.
So Brady very close to securing that extra point.
Very close to being in a bad position there. Looked like he was trying to roll out on McClure.
McClure nearly flipped him.
The Virginia Tech bench urging him to get up, keep that riding time point.
You see the number dwindling. And now McClure puts Brady down on the ground. Brady able to wiggle out of it. Escape point.
Looked like coming out of that, McClure was favoring his left leg.
Riding time point is secure for Brady. McClure needs to find a way to 3 points here in the final minutes to force overtime for North Carolina. Brady works him toward the edge. No points for either side. See if we get a reset back to neutral here sometime soon.
Still see McClure a little bit ginger going back to the center of the circle. Good control here from Brady.
He's got that underhook on McClure with 20 seconds left.
Turn that into a double leg. Nice.
Pushes him down for 2. That should do it for Connor Brady. And the redshirt freshman adding to the riding time to ride out the final 10 seconds of this third period. Connor Brady of Virginia Tech earns 3 more for the Hokies to extend the lead.
Tough fought match. Give the redshirt freshman all the credit in the world for getting that win.
Number 8, Virginia Tech, leading number 14, North Carolina, 11-6, as we're halfway through this dual meet this afternoon from Carmichael Arena. Second duel between two top 15 teams in this venue in 24 hours. Matt Krause, Kyle Straub, glad you're with us from Chapel Hill on this Saturday. Kyle, as we expected with two top 15 teams, it's been exciting so far.
Yeah, it's been very, very close. A couple of major point wins early for Virginia Tech seem to have put them out in front and a little bit more comfortable, but it's 3 matches to 2 right now. I mean, they're 5 to go. It's still a toss-up.
And these are two teams that are among the nation's best, as you would expect in back-to-back situations. It's the veterans making a big impact. Corbin Myers of Virginia Tech at 133, earning a bonus point victory.
Coming off of a bonus point victory, could come out there, put together the performance that he did, and get those 4 points. That was a really good start for the Hokies to come out with 8 before North Carolina was able to even get on the board. But the Tar Heels did get on the board. Once Sherman got out there on the mat, the veteran for North Carolina, looked a little bit precarious early, got taken down and was down 2-0, but quickly turned things around. And from there, Sherman able to really scramble a couple of times and get some big takedown points to eventually get the first win for the Tar Heels out the dual meet. And then it was backed up by their big gun. Austin O'Connor came out, and wasted absolutely no time. Went on the attack immediately in his dual meet, but that's what we talked about. That bonus point mentality, was out there trying to get the bonus points for North Carolina. Got the win, but you got to give Andonian some credit. He stayed away from the big-time loss.
Just 3 points earned by Austin O'Connor. It's rare that he does not earn bonus points. Speaking of bonus points, the #1 wrestler at 65 pounds, the reigning national champion, Mekhi Lewis, ready to go for Virginia Tech. He'll face a top 10 foe in Kennedy Monday, ranked #8 for North Carolina. Kyle, this is the bout that we had circled at the start of the broadcast. This should be good.
It was the bout we had circled at the start of the broadcast because you have two talents that could win a national championship. One in Lewis, who already has proven that and done that, and the other in Kennedy Monday, who is trying to take that next step to get to that level.
We said these wrestlers competing for the second time in 24 hours. Lewis did not spend much time on the mat last night. 34 seconds to pin his opponent from Duke, the quickest pin this year for a Hokie wrestler.
I think for me, the thing that's most impressive about Lewis, if you look at what he's done since he's gotten to college, is the fact that he is still so young.
Only a redshirt sophomore. Not only did he win that national championship in 2019, he was the most outstanding wrestler at the NCAA championships and did so as a freshman.
I think the youngest ever to do so.
One of only 2 freshmen to ever do so. Cale Sanderson of Iowa State in '99, the only other one. A major name in this sport. Lewis goes low, no points yet. Has the leg of Monday, trying to get him on his back. You can see it here.
Good hook there with the leg from Monday, keeping Lewis from picking him up.
Lewis down to his knees. Stall warning on Kennedy Monday. Remember, it's the second stall that earns a point, so no point yet for Lewis. Back to neutral we go. Kennedy Monday earned a late win yesterday against NC State, was trailing 1-0 until the final minute of that match.
And the next step for him is coming off of the heels of that big win, coming out and getting another one. We talked about last year, he kind of put the nation on notice when he upset David McFadden last year for Virginia Tech. But if you think back to it, the inconsistency jumped right out. The next match against Bucknell, against an unranked wrestler, Monday loses. I think he even got pinned in that match.
And that's what Coleman Scott said. It's that next step for him is that consistency factor. Lewis takes him down. The first 2 points of this match belong to the #1 wrestler in the lands.
Consistency, and what Coleman Scott said was it wasn't so much match to match, but within each match, recognizing that you have to be there for every move. You need to win the next move and the next move. And that's why he got such a big win over McFadden, because that was the first match he put it all together.
If you weren't with us at the start of the broadcast and wondering where was Lewis last year, he was redshirting to train for the Olympic trials and ultimately qualify for that event. Tokyo Olympics, like so much in the sports world in 2020, postponed due to COVID concerns. Hey. 15 seconds to go in this first period. Monday will begin in the down. Let's see if Lewis has enough time to try and score again. Goes quickly for the right leg. Monday keeps his footing. First comes to a close, 2-0 Lewis. No one in the ACC has won more matches in a row than the man in orange and yellow right now.
It's a little bit heated out there, the competition running high.
There's some emotion in this one.
You've got two teams in conference. There's familiarity with the two of them. You've got a match that's extremely close right now. Plus, what we were talking about at the beginning of this, two guys who are competing to try and win a national championship at some point this season.
Escape point for Lewis. He extends his lead to 3. And you see Lewis in that low stance, trying to time up his attack.
A couple of different styles. You just mentioned it. Lewis going to use that power, trying to stay low to the ground. Monday has a lot of length. Makes it tough to get in on the single and double legs on him. Good snap there.
Such long arms for Kennedy Monday. Son of the two-time Olympic medalist, Kenny Monday. Monday went looking for the single leg.
Didn't get as strong of a snap, though, before he went for that.
Staying neutral halfway through the second period. And you're so right, Kyle, about that length of Kennedy Monday. You really see it when that arm is fully extended as it is right now.
Biggest thing Coleman wanted to see from Kennedy in this match was to stay away from the scrambles, have quick finishes, go in for a shot, finish it off. Good scramble there, though, sprawl from Lewis.
Seconds left in the second. A low-scoring affair through 2 periods. Lewis, the one takedown in the first, earned an escape point there in the second. Riding time not yet a factor. 27 consecutive wins for Mekhi Lewis. Begin the third on top. Lewis allows Monday to escape. So Monday now back within 2. Bounds we go, back to neutral, back to center.
You'd see Monday a couple of times here has tried to snap the head of Lewis and then go for the single leg takedown.
Patience from both sides. Does Kennedy Monday have time to be patient? Final minute of regulation. Monday's got the left leg.
Power of Lewis, though.
His strength on display. Lewis trying to back him up.
UNC trying to tell Kennedy, pull him into the center.
You hear the call from the Carolina corner. Has him down. Let's see, there's 2, tied at 3.
Second night in a row, Kennedy Monday has a match that comes down to the end.
It was a thriller last night. The stakes a little bit higher here today against number 1 Lewis.
Tough thing here for Monday, 22 seconds. Is he going to be able to keep Lewis on the ground? Just 1 point and an escape gives Lewis the lead in the win, most likely.
Lewis back up 1. Now the final 10. A stall warning on Lewis. 4 seconds left, that's it. Monday's gonna have to go very quickly here. Monday goes quickly for the leg, but time will expire.
What a match there between those two.
Monday gave him a test, tied it up late, but ultimately Mekhi Lewis wins number 28 in a row.
Something that Coleman Scott really was proud of. Not just that the family atmosphere was actually a family atmosphere, but getting generation after generation to be able to come in. They're still buying into what you're selling, and obviously the older brother has had a good enough experience that the younger wants to follow.
In this case, the older brother is Devin Kane. He will wrestle at 174 for the Tar Heels, ranked number 9 in the land, facing Dakota Howard of Virginia Tech. Devin Kane last night lost a 6-4 decision to number 11 Daniel Bullard of North Carolina State. And Gavin Kane has seen time at the 174 this season. Gavin wrestled against Duke last Friday. Coleman Scott says it's great to have Gavin here and pushing his brother because he has this older brother to look at and see his progress since he's been on campus. Gavin was sold on us because of the progress that Devin made. That speaks to your point, Kyle.
Yeah, and great takedown here from Devin. It's also one of those things because of that special relationship that brothers can have where maybe they can get away with a little bit more in pushing each other. It's a benefit to the coaches to have them there as well. Devin is going to want to make sure that he stays above his little brother. So his little brother comes in, Devin's got to make sure he just keeps up in his game.
Devin Kane, the 5th-year senior from Milton, Georgia, Cambridge High School. 2-0 advantage here. Riding Dakota Howard of Virginia Tech.
Down by 8, North Carolina obviously would love to win. A bonus point win would be huge for them right here, though.
And on paper, this is the opportunity for a bonus point win for the Tar Heels. Howard winless on the season. He was the only Hokie wrestler to drop a match last night against Duke. We said the final score, 42-3 Virginia Tech. Connor Becker of Duke defeated Howard 10-7. Tony Roby says of Howard, his effort's always really good. He's got a great motor. He just hasn't been in the lineup a lot. So it's a lot like being a freshman in high school, going through the process of competing and figuring things out for Howard, a redshirt sophomore. Kane racking up the riding time. You see that count going up in green on your screen.
Kane really trying to roll him here.
Kane's got the left arm. Trying to work in that right arm. Meanwhile, Howard, if he can keep it extended. Howard picks up a stall warning there, you see it. But to go back to the point, if Kane can find a way to flip Howard here, fight for those bonus points, Howard earns a point on the escape. Kane's got him on his back. First period comes to a close.
King got in early in this one, got the takedown, and really built up that riding time. A little bit of a scramble between them, but always maintained control of that left ankle and foot.
And able to wrap up the right for the 2 points. Over 2 minutes of riding time in that 3-minute first period for Devin Kane. Kane earns the escape point.
Head down, head too high. Head level too high.
You hear the calls from the Hokie corner. Head level too high, neck too high on Howard. Kane trying to keep it low. Looking to get it back on the ground. Has control of one leg. grasping for the other, but Howard sneaks the right leg free. There's the 2 for Devin Kane.
Good work from Kane. Methodically got himself into position to get the 2.
Just a veteran maneuver from the 5th-year senior, and continues to ride on Howard. Howard wrestled 1 match last year at 184 against Duke in ACC competition, so he's down a weight class this season. There's an escape point for Howard to cut it to 5-2. Again, riding time a heavy factor here for Kane. Howard goes low, has a grasp of the legs. There's 2 for Dakota Howard.
You said it in the first round. The motor for Howard is non-stop.
That's what Tony Roby loves about his redshirt sophomore from Cleveland.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. Don't let him improve. Don't let him improve.
You hear Tony Roby there, don't let him improve as the final seconds of the second period elapse.
That takedown was big for Howard and Virginia Tech. Pulled back within 1. They were yelling earlier, head and neck level were too high. You see how much lower he was there. The shot works when you're lower.
So a 1-point lead for 9th-ranked Devin Kane. Kane does have the advantage in riding time, but Howard goes for the legs once again.
Good job of stuffing that one by Kane, trying to roll him up. Gave it up there.
2 points for Dakota Howard. There's the escape point for Kane, so that ties us up at the moment at 6. But Kane does have the riding time edge. Currently sits at 2:07 as we're underneath 90 to go in regulation. Howard in need of a takedown to try and spring the upset here. Kane dropped his knees, trying to go low, looking for the leg. Riding time point is secure. Howard, though, spins Kane down. No points yet. Now the 2 for Howard.
Howard winning in the scramble in this match, and that's what's got him up right now.
Dakota Howard, urged on by his coach, Tony Roby. 20 seconds away from an upset over a top 10.
Kane looks gassed on the bottom.
And this is where that 2 matches in 2 days plays a factor. An escape would tie it. 6 seconds left as we'll go back to neutral.
Kane's got to realize he needs the quick escape to force OT here.
He does have that riding time point secure. That's why we referenced that a 1-pointer would tie us up. Here we go, 6 seconds. Howard maintains the control, 2 and 1, and that's it.
Huge upset win for Howard and Virginia Tech.
First win of the season for redshirt sophomore Dakota Howard. This takedown paving the way. Howard wins the upset over Kane. When Virginia Tech head coach Tony Roby talks about the toughest kid in his wrestling room, he refers to Hunter Bolden, the 2020 ACC champion at 184 pounds, was set to be the number 2 seed at the NCAA championships, and he's on the mat right now at 184.
And he's a guy who, from the first year he stepped on campus, lived up to expectations, maybe even above them. You saw there 2018 ACC Freshman of the Year. Nothing in 19, but that's because he redshirted. Came right back last year, won the ACCs, qualified for the NCAA tournament again.
24-2 record a year ago. He'll face Clay Lout. fourth-year junior for North Carolina. Lout currently ranked 15th in the nation. The Kansas native trying to pull an upset. And speaking of upsets, Dakota Howard of Virginia Tech defeating number 9, Devin Kane of North Carolina. It really puts Virginia Tech in the driver's seat as far as the team score is concerned. The Hokies have won 3 consecutive matches to extend what was an 8-6 lead after 4, up to 17-6 through 7. Early 2 points there for the ACC champ.
North Carolina cannot afford to drop a single match the rest of this duel and needs a couple of them to be bonus points. And tough test when you're looking at Hunter Bolin as the first one that you're up against.
A guy who lost just twice last year. Bolin striking first.
Getting on the board early, had the single leg. Love how he got it up high over his head. Put the angle for Lout at a really tough one. Swept the leg, easy takedown for Bolin.
Lout escapes, earns his first points of the bout.
Stop the riding time, 16 seconds, should be 2-1. Riding time should be at 16.
Lout 1 night ago lost a 5-1 decision to Trent Hidlay.
See Bolin really putting his weight on Lout. Use it as a speed, gets around the hips.
2 more for Bolin.
Textbook takedown there for the redshirt junior.
Not only is Bolin undefeated this season, he has not given up a takedown. It's a tough task for Clay Lout, not just in this match, but in the ACC as a whole. He earns the escape point there to make it 4-2. We mentioned Lout falling to number 4 Trent Hidlay last night. The ACC so strong at 184 this year with Bolin and Hidlay and now Lout.
And especially because you talk about Lout, and Coleman Scott said he thinks between Devin Kane and Clay Lout, he's got 2 top 10 wrestlers at the 74 weight class, but only one can go. So whoever loses out, in this case it's Lout, has to jump up a weight class though. So you're in a tough weight class and you're one above where you're most comfortable at.
Carolina's got a couple more natural 184 guys on the roster. Chasen Blair comes to mind. But Coach Scott opting to have Lout wrestle up a weight class this season.
He said they ended up having a wrestle-off. 174 was determined. Lout said, I want to move up. There was a wrestle-off, and he was the one who won the rights to be in the lineup.
Stall warning. Bolin comes back with a takedown to extend his lead to 4. Bolin extending the lead to 4 late in that first period, Kyle.
3 takedowns for him, and they were all on a different variety. And on the single leg here, we saw him earlier where he picked it up high. This time he uses the scramble, gets around the hips of Lout, and brings him down to his stomach.
Bolin will start down. And earns the escape point. 7-2 in favor of Hunter Bolin.
Keep working. Find where you want to be. Break the tie, get to your face.
Hokies team that's ranked 8th as a team. 2 top 2 wrestlers. We've seen Mekhi Lewis already. Low scoring affair with him and Kennedy Monday. Lewis earning the 4-3 decision over Monday, his 28th straight win. And Bolin a legitimate national championship threat here at 184.
Good shot there from Lout, but as you said, Bolin hasn't given up a takedown at all this season. His defense is excellent.
When we talk about how strong 184 is in the ACC, you could be looking at a situation where you're going to see Lout and Hidlay next Friday night when Virginia Tech takes on NC State on the ACC Network at 8 o'clock. But then they will likely see each other again at the ACC Championship, and it's one of those things where the guy that loses in the regular year in the ACC Championship could end up going farther and being a national championship threat.
Yeah, with the level of wrestling in the ACC, you could go 2 and out in the ACCs. You just had a bad day, get to the NCAAs, and if you qualify for it, you can have yourself a little bit better opportunity sometimes. Just up and down the board, all of the schools across the conference.
Loud has done a good job avoiding hitting the minute of riding time.
For the longest time in the conference, it was Virginia Tech and Virginia who were the class of the ACC. And you'd get Duke, North Carolina, NC State every once in a while would kind of get up there and compete with them every few years. But in the last 4 to 5 years, with Coleman Scott going to North Carolina, talk about Virginia Tech and what they've done the last few years. Top to bottom, the ACC is just really, really good.
Take a look at the national rankings for the 184-pound category. We see Hunter Bolin there at number 2. We've mentioned Trent Hidlay at 4. A couple of Big Ten wrestlers in there as well. And then Binghamton ranked in the top 25 as a team for the first time in a decade. Lou Deprez comes in at the 5th spot at 184 right now. Once upon a time, Tony Roby, the head coach of the Hokies, currently was the head coach at Binghamton. That was his stop before becoming a Hokie assistant in 2006. Coach Roby taking the reins as the head man in 2017 as Bolin slams down Lout, looking for control of that leg. He's gone over a minute in riding time. Lout spins out for the escape point.
Even though Bolin got those 3 easy takedowns in the first, you got to give Lout some credit. He has kept this one close, staying away from bonus points.
Under your head.
Closing in on a minute to go in the third. Hunter Bolin, who has not given up a takedown all year. That trend continuing here in this bout today. Lout going low. Bolin bounces right back up.
Heavy, heavy, heavy.
Give the mat, give the mat. Hustle the score here. Hustle the score, Bolin.
Go hard down.
Challenge yourself, Scott.
Left hand underhook from Bolin.
Big sprint, Bolin. Big sprint here, Bolin. Big sprint.
You got 30 seconds.
Bolin closing in on securing that riding time point. But again, Lout has done well to prevent this from being a major decision.
He did just there, getting that right leg out of the way just in time so Bolin didn't get the single leg.
15 seconds.
Riding time point is secure for Bolin. Final 10 seconds here at 184. Number 2, Hunter Bolin behind 3 first period takedowns. Wins it over Clay Lout and extends the Hokies team lead to 14 points. Virginia Tech earns the win at 184. Hunter Bolin strong against Lout. With Hunter Bolin's victory at 184 pounds, Virginia Tech builds a 14-point lead over North Carolina through 8 matches, so the Hokies have secured the team victory here this afternoon. Snaps a 2-duel drought against North Carolina. First win for Virginia Tech against the Tar Heels since 2018. First win in Carmichael since 2017. True freshman Andy Smith, right down the street from Virginia Tech. Smith hails from Christiansburg, Virginia, roughly a 10-minute drive from the Virginia Tech campus. He'll take on a redshirt freshman for North Carolina in Max Shaw here at 197.
A couple of really young wrestlers here, but probably the future at the weight class for each of these programs. Talk with Coleman Scott, and he is really high on Shaw and what he could potentially become.
And Shaw, the freshman out of Pittsburgh, pinned last night by Isaac Trumbull nearly 5 minutes into the bout. Taking on Smith, who is a guy that Tony Roby says is someone you could look up in 2 years, and Roby's someone that is really, really good in one of those I told you so situations, but it's Shaw that strikes first here. Coach Roby loves Smith's work ethic, a gritty guy who wrestled at 220 in high school. Just loves to work in and out of the wrestling room. This fall, he was taking classes, participating in wrestling activities, and working 30 hours a week at a local Domino's Pizza there in Southwest Virginia. Eventually, Coach Roby stepped in and said, you gotta cut something out here in order to be successful at everything. You can't just be a jack of all trades, master of none.
24 hours in the day doesn't mean you have to do something all 24 hours. Body needs some rest. Nice early start here for Shaw. Able to get in on that takedown and then get a couple of near fall points. Shaw, a guy that Coleman said they got really late in the recruiting process because he was intent. He wanted to play football at the next level, and rightfully so. In high school was all state as a running back, but you see him on screen, and this is going to sound weird, but they were told that he was undersized to be a running back at the collegiate level, so he came to North Carolina and became a wrestler.
I'm a little confused by that one, but we're not talent evaluators.
Exactly. But because he was got that football background, it was somebody that Coleman said they were really high on. They wanted to get onto campus, and with a little work on the technicality part of wrestling, they think you combine that with the footwork he already has, and he could become a real problem in the ACC.
Escape point for Smith. We talked right off the top, Kyle, about physical recovery for these two teams after wrestling last night, especially for young wrestlers like a Max Shaw. The mental recovery is a factor too. We said he was pinned last night against Isaac Trumbull, ACC Wrestler of the Week last week. It's so important to be able to flush that mentally and get right back at it your next time on the mat.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, at least from my standpoint, if I were Shaw, I got pinned last night, I want that back-to-back. Let me get back out there and get the bad taste out of my mouth so I can move on and get something better than a quick pin.
He's got the advantage here, 4-1 against the hardworking Andy Smith. Smith did not wrestle at 197 last night. Stan Smeltzer of Virginia Tech did. He pinned Duke's Caden Russell. This is the second ACC appearance for Smith, who dropped a 10-3 decision to Jay Aiello of Virginia his last time out in ACC competition. You stay in neutral for the final 5 seconds here of this first period.
You get to the heavier weight classes and you notice a difference in the style. It's more of a physicality, getting into position. So you see a lot of hand fighting, a lot of neck control.
And even then, among the upper weight classes, there's such a difference between, say, 197 and heavyweight. Escape point for Shaw.
You gotta clear your wrist. Good stance. You gotta clear that wrist. He's trying to slow you down.
See the wrist control from Shaw kept Smith from being able to get down and get that single leg.
Good shots. Good shots. It's there.
Smith took a shot at the legs. Shaw gets defensive.
Heavy pull.
Speaks to your point about the hand fighting there, Kyle. Both sides trying to establish an underhook, gain some leverage up there around the neck area.
Working your attacks.
Halfway through the second period.
Couple of good sprawls, getting the legs out of the way from Shaw.
Let's go, shoot. You gotta shoot through the leg to get it. Shoot to score.
You hear the instruction for Smith, shoot to score, and they want him to shoot through the leg instead of just trying to grab it and get control of the leg and then take him down. Shoot through, which is something we saw a little bit earlier with Sherman.
Good time to score.
Good time to score. You hear the call. Smith tried it. Now he's on the ground.
Don't move. Don't move. I'm looking for my whistle, and I got here as soon as I can.
And there's a chance that
Injury time.
Smith
Injury time, Reds. Thank you.
really rung his bell here. He definitely appears to be conscious. There you see him getting up to his feet. Injury timeout for Smith.
It happened so fast. I didn't see what actually had happened.
This is a concussion evaluation.
Let's see here.
You see him grabbing at his jaw there. When he comes around the backside, oh, it was the heel. As Shaw stepped out, the heel hit him right in the jaw.
They're going to take him off the mat and do the evaluation.
So this is the concussion protocol. Virginia Tech training staff. Obviously, with safety first, you want to make sure that Smith isn't concussed and has all his faculties about him before you would think about putting him back out there. And as far as team score is concerned, like we said, Virginia Tech has secured the team victory here today. And it looks like Smith is going to get back at it.
Glad that he is okay, checked out, and going to be able to go back out there. Freak accident, a little bit of a scary moment there.
Trainers cleared him to wrestle.
Trainers have cleared him to wrestle. So 19 seconds left in the second period. Quick strike, 2 points for Smith. An escape point for Shaw. Puts his lead back at 3 at 6-3. So from concussion protocol to a takedown.
If you had any concern about him at all, he was good to go. Was not able to get in deep enough that entire round until there to get the single leg. That was a big point, or a big takedown for him to get. Otherwise, that's a dominating round there for Shaw.
Yeah, yes, please.
Shaw currently sitting on 1:17 of riding time. Third period here in this 197-pound bout. Escape point for Smith.
Good awareness from Smith to sprawl after the escape because Shaw tried to get in and get the takedown.
Good hold.
Waterfall position, both wrestlers fight their way to the edge. We'll go back to center. And again, though, the scoreboard shows it's a 2-point edge for Shaw. He has the 1:22 of riding time. Far from secure at this juncture of the third period, but it is a factor. More of an uphill climb for Smith than it appears at the moment.
Both wrestlers getting a little bit more aggressive, taking some more shots.
Good penetration. Shoot the score, Andy. Shoot the score.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Final minute of regulation. Out of bounds we go.
Blood stoppage screen.
It'll be a blood stoppage. Gives Smith a chance to catch his breath, receive some coaching. We saw after the last stoppage the injury break that gave Smith the opportunity to earn that takedown. ACC Championship this year to be held on the final day of February at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh. The NCAA Championships, middle of March. And the gateway to the West, St. Louis, Missouri. And as of now, the Summer Olympics scheduled 1 year late, July 23rd through August the 8th in Tokyo, Japan. A lot upcoming on the wrestling calendar.
I know every single wrestler out there competing hopes that all of that actually gets to go off. There were so many players, or so many wrestlers that were so disappointed last year with things getting canceled just before the NCAA tournament took off.
Kai Lewis of Virginia Tech redshirted last year to train for those Olympic Games.
You gotta fight inside there. Fight inside. Fight inside.
That was something that Coleman had mentioned in our pregame talk that I thought was really, really interesting, but also made a lot of sense. In wrestling, there is no professional league for them to go to, so he thinks that more kids should have that goal and ambition of becoming an Olympic medalist, because it is a goal that can be reached if that's what you want to work at.
You gotta get 2 now. Get to a leg.
Riding time point is secure.
15 seconds.
So it's a 7-4 edge for Shaw. Smith needs to find his way to 2 takedowns here in 15 seconds. Stall warning against Shaw. 2 more for Max Shaw. Smith earns the escape point. Clock will run out though, and Max Shaw, the redshirt freshman for North Carolina, earns the 3rd victory of the day for the Tar Heels. Good bounce back from
Smith.
Yeah, good bounce back there from Max Shaw after last night's pin. Earns the win with 1 bounce left at Carmichael. We mentioned in our last segment that the Olympics are coming up, and wrestling will be contested this July in Tokyo, Japan. A strong Olympic lineage around the North Carolina program. Kenny Monday, the father of Kennedy Monday and the Tar Heel Wrestling Club coach, 2-time medalist. Assistant Jamil Kelly won a silver in 2004 in Athens. And the head man, Coleman Scott, in 2012, the bronze medalist in the 60 kilograms weight class. There's Jamil Kelly on the left, Coleman Scott on the right. So when Coleman Scott talks about his wrestlers training for the Olympics, he speaks from experience, Kyle.
He speaks from experience, and bringing Kelly on because of that Olympic experience, one of the big reasons that he wanted to get him here and able to do so as an assistant coach this year. And tied in a little bit further, Kennedy Monday's father, who we saw was an Olympic medalist, was actually Coleman Scott's coach when Coleman Scott was an Olympian.
Strong lineage. Here's our last bout of the day. It's the heavyweight bout. John Borst is ranked number 15 in the country. He's wrestling for Virginia Tech against Andrew Gunning of North Carolina. Speaking of the international level, Gunning has experience there. He wrestled in the Pan Am Games in 2019 representing Peru. Gunning last night lost a 3-1 decision to Deontay Wilson of NC State. As for Borst, he did not wrestle last night for Virginia Tech in their duel against Duke. Borst, an NCAA qualifier last year, earned a couple of Tech Fall victories in the West Virginia Quad Meet back on January the 10th. Included a 15-0 win against Kent State, and he's got a grasp of the left leg of Gunning. Gunning able to wriggle out.
Gunning, a guy who really was disappointed with the cancellation of the NCAA championships last year, getting the opportunity to get out there this season, really wants to take advantage of it, wants to make some noise, he says.
And Gunning had to beat out a little bit of competition. Brandon Whitman, who was at the 197 weight class last year for the Tar Heels, is up at 285 this year. But yet it's Gunning, the returning starter at heavyweight, that's getting the call for Carolina.
Part of the depth that Coleman talked about, when you have depth, especially at every single weight class, it breeds more competition.
Borst drops the right hand underhook, now goes back at it. Not a ton of offense here early in our heavyweight bout. And that depth and competition for the Tar Heels also on display in the wrestling room in Blacksburg. Borst and Hunter Katka have been competing at the 285 spot. Tony Roby saying that Katka, who started last night at 285 for the Hokies, is a guy that's good enough to deserve the chance to wrestle against Borst and see what he's got. They've seen what Borst has for 3 years, and that's an NCAA qualifier, so it speaks very highly to the true freshman Hunter Katka. Final 10 seconds of this opening period. No score after 3 minutes.
JB, you're back on legs.
Caution against Borst. Virginia Tech has earned the team victory. As we said earlier, it snaps a 2-year drought against North Carolina. The Tar Heels won 23-10 in Castle Coliseum last year. Escape point for Borst. 1-0.
5, guys.
Post that. Straight over.
Lay down.
The team points matter as far as standings go, but individually you look at the way that this duel has gone, and there's some wrestlers on Virginia's side that have got to come away feeling really good, and inevitably they will see each other again in the ACC championships. But that also can be said for North Carolina. I think Kennedy Monday is the one who can come away feeling really good, even though he lost a match to Lewis.
It really pushed Mekhi Lewis, the #1 wrestler in the country, at 165. And Kai, you said it, these are wrestlers that are going to see each other later this year. And you know Monday will be excited for that rematch of the ACC championships the last day of February at NC State. But then on the Virginia Tech side, you point to some of their victories. Corbin Myers' bonus point win at 133 was large early. Dakota Howard with the unranked upset of Devin Kane.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest one for Virginia as far as individual takeaways.
And Howard was winless. Took down a top 10 wrestler. Gunning has the leg. Pushes Borst out of bounds. No points for either side.
Right shot. 20 seconds, John. Finish the call.
Patient approach continuing here, but there's an aggressive maneuver from Borst.
Looks like the refs saying they were out of bounds.
Let's check out these final frantic seconds of the second period.
We're gonna look
Able to
at
get in, tie up Gunning. When did he get control?
So you think there's a challenge, there's a takedown message? Okay. Like, Virginia Tech is challenging. There's a takedown there.
Virginia Tech, who maintains their challenge after winning one earlier, has thrown the challenge brick here. And why not? It's your last bout of the day. You have the challenge. So the Hokies are arguing that there was a takedown there. So let's see. He has the one leg.
That is, do I think he had a takedown? Yes. When was control established? I'm not sure that the refs are going to be able to figure that out and give the points, considering it was not called a takedown on the mat.
Yeah, there was that one moment there where you could see he had both ankles as Gunning was losing his footing. There it is, right there.
And when they get to the mat, he now has control of that leg, come up, grab the
After
hip.
further review, the ruling on the mat is confirmed. There is no takedown. Virginia Tech loses its challenge.
Heard the explanation.
Last match, go ahead and use it since you have it, but just because of the timing, the proximity to being out of the circle, it would have been a tough one to overturn.
Drilling. Good one. Don't reach in. Don't reach.
Borst spins Gunning down. has the left leg. Forrest won't let him get to his feet. You see he's got a grasp of that left foot.
Good job of spinning the hips there from Gunning, just couldn't get control.
Forrest trying to get Gunning under his back. Still no points for either side. But Gunning in some trouble here. And the whistle stops play.
Dangerous hold.
Yeah, dangerous hold called against Forrest, so we're tied up at 1 now. Forrest and Gunning, last bout of the day. Who's going to make the aggressive move here with riding time completely not a factor? Stall warning on Gunning. Next stall infraction on the Carolina heavyweight is a point for Forrest. But Gunning goes low.
Went in, but came up short on the double leg.
There's 2 for Forrest. Takedown puts him ahead 3-1, and the seconds ticking down.
We've talked about it on both sides a couple of times. Taking a shot versus taking a shot with the intent of scoring, and Gunning just took a shot there, and it turns around on him, and Forrest is able to get the takedown instead.
So Forrest will stay on top, and he'll ride out the final 3 seconds, earn Virginia Tech 3 more points, and set our final score for the duel at the Hokies 23 and the Tar Heels 9. So Virginia Tech wins 7 of the 10 matches. The number 8 team in the land earns the team victory. But Cal, as we talked about a couple of moments ago, some major individual highlights for both sides today.
As an overall for Virginia Tech, they've got to feel good. They come to North Carolina, pick up 2 wins in 2 consecutive days, the first time they've had back-to-backs. You've got some individuals that really are going to feel good for them going forward, especially when you have those rematches in the ACC tournament. O'Connor, one of the bright spots for the Tar Heels. They've got a little bit of work to do, some tight matches, but came out on the short end of them.
You have to imagine Tony Roby and Virginia Tech pleased with their efforts today. The Virginia Tech Hokies earning the victory against North Carolina. The Tar Heels next in action at home on the 13th of February. For Kyle Straub and our entire great ACC Network crew, I'm Matt Krause. To watch this entire match on replay as well as other matches on the ACC Network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.